So much. I'm Anthony Vaccaro. I'm the president of the Northern Mining Group. It's a great privilege to be sitting down here at the Young Mining Professionals Awards Gala with Eira Thomas, who happens to have one of the awards named after her. Eira, why don't you talk to me a little bit about what you think the Young Mining Professionals organization, what its role is in the industry, how it's contributing, why is this important? Why have your name affiliated with such an important event?
Well, Anthony, it's great to see you, and it's great to be here at this event. I actually think the work that the YMP does is critically important to the future of our industry. One of the biggest challenges we have is in securing talent, and we've got to encourage young people, from an early age to start thinking about possible careers in the mining industry. And in addition to that, what YMP has done, going from a single chapter here in Toronto to an organization that has such broad global reach. I think they're in 13 different jurisdictions now, and what it really does is it connects, veterans of the industry like myself, mentors, to young high potential candidates that are thinking about whether or not they even want to enter the industry, and then when they do, how can we support them as they start their journey, because they are critical to the future success of this industry.
So true, so important, and it's so great to have you here to support the event. I'm actually going to ask you, the Eira Thomas Award is going to Anna Juarez, who is an extraordinary young leader in the industry in her own right. But we're going to have time to talk to Anna later in the evening, and it'll be on video for everybody. I'm actually going to ask you about the other two winners, because you do have a long history with the Lundin family, the late Lucas Lundin, definitely a stalwart, incredible leader of our sector.
Yes.
Saw something new early on, because he was an early investor in some of your vehicles. Stornoway was one of them, but also Eira and Kaminak. Talk to us a little bit about the Lundin family in terms of the traits that have made them so successful in the resource sector.
It's a multi-generational mining family. Like myself, I'm the second generation of miners. Our partner in Eira, Catherine McLeod, comes from a family of miners, and I think that it kind of gets into your blood, and it's very clear that the Lundin boys have obviously, decided to heed the call, and they've stepped into the fold now, and are taking the Lundin group to the next level.
And it is an important part of the story. We'll talk about it a bit tonight, but your father, Grenville Thomas, in the Mining Hall of Fame. And I love the story that in many ways your career began at a time when Aber Diamonds, before the big success, we all think of Aber and Diamond. When you got that call to come and kind of help out, tell us a little bit about that story, about when you get the call from Ren and how you became actually integral to the finding of Diamond.
Yeah, it's a classic kind of mining story, and if you've been in this business long enough, you've experienced booms and you've experienced busts. And at the time the Aber opportunity came along, we weren't in a great market, we were in a terrible market, and the call came from Dad because, quite frankly, the treasury was depleted. I was going to go off and do some additional studies after finishing my geology degree, and he said, no, I got to get home and help me. I need someone to go in the field and collect samples. So it turned out to be an enormous opportunity for me. The great Canadian staking rush for diamonds, consumed the entire nation, and was one of the greatest staking rushes in world history. And being a young geologist, again, people were scarce, so I was afforded all sorts of incredible opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise been given. So I really caught that cycle at the right time, and it was super exciting not only to be in the field, but then to learn the business aspects of running a small junior exploration, then junior miner, and eventually a much larger company that went into production with Canada's second diamond mine.
It is one of the great Canadian mining stories. Diamond is one of the world's most famous diamond mines. So out of family loyalty comes all that experience and a great, great mine. Okay, diamonds, a lot of people associate you with diamonds because of your great success in Eira, discovering some of the biggest, most incredible diamonds on record. But now your focus is a little more on gold. Of course, you have great success with Kaminak, selling that to Goldcorp in 2016. Talk to us a little bit about why gold and why that's where your interest is now.
Well, obviously with gold hitting record highs, it's a commodity that can and does attract investor interest. I'm particularly interested at this point because we have not seen the trickle-down effect yet in our industry. So we've seen the majors run, the mid-tiers are starting to have their day in the sun, but where I see value is actually in the earlier stage opportunities. And so it's been really fun over the last year and a half to start think about putting land packages together and get back to my first love, which is exploration. So that's kind of what I've been focused on.
Amazing. Well, the gold industry is happy to have you back, that's for sure. And what a time, as you alluded to, gold prices are extraordinary. We know the geopolitical tensions are feeding into that. I'd be remiss not to take this opportunity as a fellow Canadian here. Canadian-US relations are at a point in history that we probably haven't seen since maybe 1812. What's your take on how that's going to impact the Canadian mining industry?
Well, listen, I mean, it's not going to be without its challenges. There is absolutely no question. This is going to put pressure on certain aspects of the industry. But on the flip side, I think that this has been a big wake-up call for our politicians and our regulators, and I think for all Canadians. You know, we are a resource nation. We have been built on the products that we mine, and so I feel this is a huge opportunity. I think it's a call to action. Everybody recognizing that we've got to reach broader markets than that single dominant neighbor to the south, and we can do it if we all work together to try and create a more streamlined regulatory environment, and we can get all of our local stakeholders and communities of interest on side to do that. I think Canadians are definitely willing and eager, I think, to ensure that we can be more resilient.
I think we've had a quiet pride and a quiet nationalism. It's not so quiet right now, so it's a great time to tap into this idea.
Go Canada.
Go Canada, absolutely. Ira, thank you so much for being here and taking some time.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.